King Hezekiah of Judah is famous for his faithfulness. After the reign of his evil father, Hezekiah launched a mission to rededicate the nation of Judah to God. He cleansed and rebuilt the temple in Jerusalem and went about the country tearing down high places. Hezekiah also lived through his sister country of northern Israel being taken over by the Assyrian Empire, which perhaps explains his motivation to get back to God, to renew covenant relationship with him who had given his ancestors the land in the first place. The Bible tells us that in Hezekiah's 14th year as king, Sennacherib of Assyria marched on Judah, taking all of the country's fortified cities before turning to Jerusalem. This would have taken an agonizingly long amount of time, and Hezekiah used it as well as he could. 2 Chronicles 32 tells us that when Hezekiah saw that Sennacherib had come and that he intended to wage war against Jerusalem, he consulted with his officials and military staff about blocking off the water from the springs outside the city. And they helped him. They gathered a large group of people who blocked all the springs and the stream that flowed through the land. "Why should the kings of Assyria come and find plenty of water?" they said. Hezekiah also fortified Jerusalem's wall, built towers, and gathered resources and weapons. But his defensive move of redirecting water while cutting it off to the area surrounding the city was smart. He knew that Sennacherib's army would lay siege. They would camp around the city, effectively cutting them off from any outside supply of food or water. It would then be a waiting game. Might as well try to thirst out the competition. Today, the water tunnel of Hezekiah is known. In fact, as a tourist to the Holy Land, many visitors walk through this ancient waterway. Geographically, it weaves its way underground from the Gihon Spring, the source of the water, under the eastern slope of the city to a pool on the western side of the city. It was once thought that Hezekiah did this because the Gihon Spring was outside of Jerusalem's protective walls. It's now known that the spring was inside the lower city wall, but by diverting its waters to a location inside the upper wall, blocking the spring, camouflaging the entrance to the tunnel, Hezekiah prepared for Sennacherib to breach the lower wall. An inscription was found that tells us how it was constructed. 2 teams of diggers worked, one at the starting point and one at the ending point. They dug their way towards each other and met in the middle. The most recent study on the tunnel posits there was a 3rd team that worked from the ground above the diggers, using hammers to send sound signals down to the workers. This would explain the mystery of the tunnel's S-shape. They started going too deep into the hill where they couldn't effectively hear the soundings, forcing them back to the shallow eastern slope. These researchers were also able to carbon date some organic remains stuck in the original plaster, verifying the date to the time of Hezekiah. Thanks for watching. Click the playlist on screen now to watch more spotlights. And if you want to read the full article, click the link in the description. You can always go to BibleDiscoveryTV.com for more videos, articles, and resources.